Hello, everyone. In this new series of quick tips, I am going to be addressing some of the questions that have been brought up via email or during class time as to how to do certain things that you want to apply to your compositions. In this case, we're going to be talking about how to create fog appropriately onto a composition. Now, some of you have gone out and found footage like this. For example, in this case, it's just the skyline with some steam coming from the buildings. And then you went and looked for fog footage online or some that you had from canned footage that you had acquired before. So in this case, I have this layer of fog, and usually things like this are shot in a black background. So your first inclination when you see something like this is, oh, well, this isn't shot in black, so I want to drop all the dark out of this. And you would want to change the mode to something like add or lighten or screen. Now, you could do that, but what happens is when you play this back, you'll notice that there's a marked difference between the fog in the foreground and your footage in the background. They're not well merged into one another. And the reason for that is because there's color differences. There's quite a lot. It basically looks like an overlay on top of the other thing, and that's not really what you want. You want the thing to be well integrated. So to do this appropriately, what I usually do is let's go back to normal. I want to go ahead and use only the light information from the fog, which by default would be what you think mode is doing for you. But what you want to do is really actually pull the luminance out of this and use that as the alpha information. So you could do that either through a track matte or you could do it through something called shift channels. And now we've used shift channels in the past to create that color shift within layers to create that kind of like where you see the RGB breaking apart. That's the same filter that we use in this case. So in this case, I'm just simply going to use it to change the alpha information, not from the alpha information of that footage, but I want to use the luminance value of this or the lightness. It depends on which one works best for your footage. So you'll see that now we have a more subdued look to that actual fog. And it looks a little bit better. It looks like there's more dimension in this versus the previous one. Now, to really sell this effect, what you want to do is you want to colorize that with the color of the fog. If you notice, let me turn off the filter. Our fog is white, as what we would expect it to be. But in reality, in the real world, fog will look picking up ambient color from the light that is bouncing all over the scene. So in this case, you see that this steam looks a little bit brownish because that is the color of the general color of everything around here. So we want to go ahead and pick up that color and add it to our fog. So to do so, we want to go ahead and go to either a fill color, a fill filter, or a tint filter. I'm going to use a fill filter in this case. You'll notice that my fog turns red. Now this looks radioactive. I want to turn off the visibility of that layer for now. And I want to go ahead and use my color picker under the fill to pick a light color or a mid-tone color of the existing fog on the scene. So something like around here would do. And that's the color I will be using. Now let me turn on the visibility of the layer again. And now my fog looks like it's a little bit better integrated into the scene than the original one. Let me go ahead and take a snapshot of this really quick. So I want to go ahead and take a picture to compare with the previous one that we had. So let's go ahead and take a picture of this. And let's go ahead and turn off all filters and activate screen. So you guys can see the difference between the two. This is with the screen mode. This is with the filters. Screen mode, filters, and you can see that the fog, it's a lot more integrated when we do the process that we just walked through. The end result being that let me go ahead and turn this back on, have a more natural looking scene. Things look a little bit more integrated when you play them back.